joystick.
It is the technology show where we translate geek
into very, very regular speak.
I'm Brett Levy, and with me as always, Angela Vithoulkas. How are you?
You know, I'm not bad for a very busy Wednesday being hump day, and it really is the middle of the week that has, as usual, brought about a to-do list that I cannot manage, and I have successfully failed already before Friday. But, you know, that's a whole other show.
But Angela, you're always busy. It's not like you wake up in the morning and look at your schedule and go, oh, wow, look at all that free time. I mean, let's be honest.
No,
you are busy.
Yes. When I get responses from other people on email or text or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or a direct message on LinkedIn or any other way that they can think of to reach me in one of 22 platforms that I happen to be using, and they say, I'll get this to you in 2 days because I'm really busy, I usually go back with, no, I'm busy.
Yeah.
You have time.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Oh, there we go. That deserves a bell. So I think we should kick off with things with a Z.
Yes, because I have my list.
You've got your list. Well, I've actually another nice, really big screen over here, which makes my life easier.
You stole my screen.
Because I'm blind. So
can we just say really quickly, thank you to everyone that has been watching live and then watching when the show comes on repeat, available on YouTube.
Yes.
Which we put out.
Yes.
We really want to thank anyone out there that has emailed us already or texted us on some questions. I think we dealt with them personally, but if we do come across any questions that you would like answered in this show or another show, please let us know. So if you are watching live, say hi.
Yeah, come in on the chat. We've got chat. I think LinkedIn chat works.
And where are you?
And I think Facebook works. So Angela, we're on your LinkedIn profile live, which you probably know that if you're watching this live. We're on our SME TV YouTube platform live.
Correct.
And I don't think you can post from there. And then my personal Facebook page, I think we're live as well. So we've got 3 different destinations.
Yes. And
well, let's see what happens if the chat's. I know LinkedIn works. So on Angela's LinkedIn, that's where you can chat to us as well. Cool.
Oh.
So things with a Z.
Christy. Nelson Bay. Is it beautiful? I hope it's beautiful.
We're going to go into a private. I'm going to have to put on those. So, yes, hello, Christy from Nelson Bay. Thanks for joining us live. I'm going to go to things with a Z.
Okay.
Right. So the app of the week this week is something called Origyn. In fact, I've actually got a really nice little presentation. Look at this. I can go click on this button, click on that, and go share so people can see stuff. If I do this,
I think it's really
important. We now have to move.
Yeah.
But we have to get this right.
But I think it's really important that people understand that this is a technology show.
And we should know how to use technology.
And you sound really proud of yourself because you can do something.
Well, you know, it's a new tech for me. I mean, we started together as a podcast.
4 more buttons is new tech for you.
No. I'm talking about getting the spacing right. Like, look how I've balanced that really nice, pretty picture.
Again, it's a tech show.
But I'm not a designer. I'm a techie. I have to get designers, like clever people, to design. Back to things with a Z. On the screen,
Hi,
Origyn.
Joe. Thank you.
So Origyn, I think, is a great idea. I say the word idea. It's in a development stage.
Yeah.
It brings artificial intelligence, blockchain, fraud, luxury goods. It brings iPhones. It brings everything into play.
So the concept of this app, Brett did take me through and show me how it works and blah, blah, blah. And I tried not to yawn until I saw some data.
Well, I also could be
and
nasty
the figures
and go,
of fraud.
You know, with the Cartier controversy going on, I could say, are they
You're
real?
You're going to forward this app to Christine, formerly the CEO of Australia Post, and say, just send these to the guys that you bought the watches for, just so they can verify that they're real.
Well, that gives it away. This app tells you if your luxury watch is real.
Is a fake.
Or is a fake.
Girls, you had to worry before about your Louis Vuitton bag not being real. Now you have to worry about your watch not being real.
It's a big worry.
So, like I said, at first I was like, yeah, okay. Then I realized when you showed me the data, $224 million worth of fraud in the watch industry is what is taking place.
Every year.
There are every year. Yeah. And there are really tough 1.6 million or so super fakes. The whole industry has like levels of fakeness.
Well, it's like with everything, right? Yeah. You know, when you see, oh, that's such a fake, but then you see stuff that you actually can't see different.
From Orange, we've got regional New South Wales. Good on us.
Well, it's good to have. So there we go. So Origyn, why did I make this the app of the week? Again, so many different aspects. They're bringing blockchain into it.
Yeah,
and the idea is that when
that's
the previous employees of Australia Post need to sell their Cartier watches, they'll be able to prove that they're real. It was developed by the Swiss watch industry.
They can put it on their resume and say, I've got a Cartier watch, but I also can prove that it's real.
Correct. And hopefully get the right coin for it. So it's not out yet. It's in the development stage and the trial stage. It's in Switzerland where all the Swiss watches are made. Go figure. Swiss watches made in Switzerland. Amazing.
They make two things, chocolate and watches.
But this also then gives them the opportunity for the ecosystem, right? So they work securely with the watch manufacturers to give them the bits and pieces they need to put in so the app can identify it. So
I've got my special techie robot pen. And it's an interesting, because this app kind of brings a lot of things together in a civilian world like me, who's not the techie, where it explains how the blockchain and identification, the fingerprint of a watch, using that terminology, how all of it actually comes together in this world, like a basic app, because that is basic technology now, an app, but how it's used and interpreted, and it can follow stock. So you can track when you are able to track your husband or your partner.
You can do that already with the Apple Find Me app.
It's a nice segue.
It's a nice segue. I like that. Things with a Z product review. So
easy.
That was actually a very good segue.
Ezviv, I know.
So this is called, I've actually got a picture. This is called
Here's one we prepared earlier.
We did. So Ezviv, this is the C6N. Now, it's a little security camera. I say little because I'm trying to give you scale. It's probably the size of this microphone. It's not a big unit. And you can see, just looking at the picture, very simple, self-contained. It has a built-in speaker. So let's start with some of the features. Let's do the techie stuff first.
Why?
But why what?
Why did it make it to the shortlist for this week? Okay,
so security has become quite a big thing for a lot of people now.
Home security.
Working from home, we're spending a lot more time at home, and when you leave home, you're probably a little bit more worried about your pets or even your kids. Like, you're not going to leave.
So nothing to do with checking out your wife while she's doing her fitness class today, or scaring the crap out of your son.
Well, that was just part of the fun, and we'll get to that now. But the main idea behind getting a device like this is, one, people are spending more time with their pets, working from home. So when you leave, pets can probably start looking for you, getting a bit worried, etc., etc. This has got two-way communication.
Hi, Spiros.
Hello, Spiros.
Spiros in India.
In India. Wow, we got global. That's great.
Yasu. That's Greek.
Now, if we had a camera and he had the app, he could log in. So
that would be really scary.
1080 DPI, 1080 HD, so full HD.
Full HD.
Okay. The pictures I've put in here obviously don't do it justice, but the one that I did want to show you was the little black and white picture down at the bottom. It's got a smart IR, infrared mode. So at nighttime, you can actually enhance the images. Now, why would you want to do that? I was out the other night. I wanted to make sure that my son was not getting up to anything he shouldn't be getting up to. As a teenager, where did I find him? On the couch, fast asleep, right? Not doing his homework. So what did I do? I spoke to him. Well, I put the fear of God.
You activated the app.
He didn't know that I had the device.
You took it out of sleep mode.
I took it out of sleep mode.
He didn't know it was there.
Correct.
Now, you do realize that when you're old and drooling, he's going to put you in a nursing home just for that.
Oh, he's going to be doing that for me for lots of other things. So I'm gone anyway, so let me have some fun. So I spoke to him. And hey, Scott. Do you also know Scott?
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Hello, Scott.
Go Sharks. Too bad. Sorry.
This is now the Shark Show. Actually, let's give Scott a punt. He's got a show called The Naked Punt, I think. He does it on Facebook.
He doesn't do it naked, right?
No, I hope not. Scott, no offense, mate, but I hope not naked. No, he doesn't. It's actually a very professional setup. Just put the link in the chat, Scott. I'll give it a shout out. I have seen the show. It's a footy show. It's really cool. So anyway,
I knew Scott before you knew Scott.
Probably. You've been there longer than me. But I love Cronulla, so I've been down there a couple of times. But anyway, we digress. So of course I spoke to Kay and I was like, in an eerie voice, right? Of course he bailed off the couch. And then of course I told him what he was doing because I can see what he's doing. And then eventually I couldn't do it anymore. So I had to be nice and just tell him what I was doing. Great device.
But he could have just put like a cloth, a tea towel over.
But he didn't know where it was. This is the thing. It's small and it's there and it rotates 360. It comes with a very cool attachment. You can actually put it up into the roof as well. So mine's just balancing on a table, but you could actually attach it upside down.
Hang it upside down.
Yeah, it comes with its own little attachment. You drill 4 holes into
How
the roof.
much is it?
It's under $60.
No way.
Go to Amazon. In fact, I think there's a link for it.
You only download the app like once and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no
subscriptions or anything like that. In fact, I think that it's on there. There, Amazon. I try to make a short link to make it quicker. You don't have to search. So you can see it on the screen. I'll leave it up for a bit longer.
Yep.
It has a memory card.
We'll put it in the notes.
So it has a memory card. So if you need to record something, so it's cloud or memory card. It comes with a cloud service. I think that's a subscription model. Like you get free number of gigs and then you could pay for it. But it does have a memory card. So
and I'm just watching the time.
I'm watching the time too.
Okay.
And then also motion detection. That's another cool. So if someone or something moves in the house that shouldn't be moving, you've got the opportunity then for it to start recording.
So when you think that there's a ghost in the house or a poltergeist and it's actually moving all your stuff, but you've technically forgotten where you put stuff.
Well,
or
maybe.
you could, or
you're finding uses for it. It's a camera.
You could,
like, let's
stay
with
I think I left my keys on the kitchen bench. You just activate your app and go, yeah, there they are.
The quality of the camera would be good enough to see that. So it's not like those little fuzzy VGA things. It has got 1K resolution.
Hi, Matthew. And Sydney is as exotic as it gets for me these days. So anyway. Lake Macquarie, Newcastle. Hi.
It just says LinkedIn user, so we don't know who that is.
Okay. It's okay.
So, and then the last thing.
Yep.
Alexa and smart home activated. So you can actually voice control the device. So you can bring it into your smart home environment. It's all ready for it. And so this is under $60. So it's a pretty good deal, I think.
Yeah,
there we go. Scott's given us, it's called the Naked Punt. That's what I said.
Not the. There's no
the. Naked punt.
nakedpunt.com
/blog. Okay, but I think if you Google on Facebook, it's
so
the
much
Naked
for
Punt.
you being the tech guy.
I can't read that well, but I just saw the end. Anyway, so the Naked Punt, Scott, if you're into footy, if you're into NRL, definitely go and watch. In fact, we've got State of Origin coming up now, don't we?
Go the Blues.
Oh, I have to support them just purely because I refuse to pronounce the other colour the way everyone else does. But it's a different chat for a different day.
Anyway.
Right. So wrapping up things with a Z because I am conscious of time.
Yes. Moving on to business tech news.
Business tech news. I'm going to hit the bell.
We'll hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Right. So what have we got in business tech news? We have got, I've got another pretty picture. You see, I'm using tech.
I know.
Look at that.
Can I just say that
do you know why those two are together?
He's using tech.
Yes.
So that he can take up half of my screen because my diva requirements were quite specific.
I'll move this way. You can move more this way. Look. How's that? Do I look better now?
That's much better. Keep going.
Is that good?
Keep going.
Right, is that good?
Keep going.
Okay, I'll do the face thing, like a half face. This is my better half.
Oh, that's really serious. So I'll do that.
Well, yeah, okay, so we'll see what happens when we bring our guest into the show just now, how the screen changes again. But for now, I'll shift over and we'll keep our 1.5 meters. So we're not even in the same room, though, are we?
Not in the same country.
We're not in the same country, right?
In New Zealand.
Back to the show. Why would I put Coles and Boost mobile phone up on the screen, Angela?
Because you can buy these refurbished phones for only $250. It is old tech, but you can buy them from Coles. And guess what? They come with a warranty.
They do. So that's it. So I think it was a great move. We've been talking about various different phones. I talked about the new iPhone 12 top end. We've talked about the Samsung Fold. Alcatel, good long-time sponsor of the show. Look, Tess just popped up as well, saying we're looking good. Our producer is not with us today in either of our countries or studios. She's relaxing, but she's just checking in on us on what she's still working even while she's relaxing. So that's awesome. Hey, Tess. So
she's probably drinking.
Why do I like this idea or this merger? You go to Coles, you pick up a phone for $259.
It's not a merger. They're just selling a product.
Well, they are selling a product. You're right. It's not a merger, but it's a great promotion. I think it's a very clever promotion.
What, that they like Aldi, you can buy stuff that's not supermarket.
No, but you're getting to the time of the year when people are now upgrading their phones. So from a timing point of view.
And a good cheap Christmas present.
Correct. And if your kid's been nagging for an iPhone, the 7's old, but it's not that old. It will still do 85, 90% of what it needs to. So
make phone calls,
Yeah.
track the kids,
and
have some
and
apps.
most of the apps. I'm not sure
Google
if it will
stuff.
run iOS 14. That's yet to be seen. In fact, if Alex is listening, he's my resident go-to when it comes to Apple. Maybe he can tell us if the iPhone 7 can handle iOS 14, the new one. What do we have next? Dun, dun, dun. Speaking of Apple, do you love the way I segued into that? Wasn't that just so slick? Yeah.
Something's still coming.
So I was sent this by hundreds of people yesterday, and I've been following this as well. So we're getting another Apple event. I don't think Apple realizes that
we don't
Tuesday in
care.
America. No, of course we care. I'm a fanboy. Tuesday in America is Wednesday for us. Wednesday is our show. That means I have to get up early to watch this and then be tired for our show.
And
very inconsiderate of them. They should have contacted me first to check that Tuesday was right or Wednesday would have been better. Excuse us.
Apple, could you please, tag Brett?
Yes. And ask if it's okay, if I'm busy.
Just because he has a diary that he can share with you.
I can. At least 2 people will be able to see my diary. But let's do some predictions here. We've seen new phones. We've seen new iPads. We've seen new HomePod minis, new watches.
But I don't care.
But I do. I'm a fanboy and I've got half the show. So this
okay,
is my
so they're
half.
going to bring something new out. It's because it's Christmas. They need more money. They've dropped in sales maybe. Who cares?
I think they've definitely dropped in sales.
Yeah, are they going to set the world on fire? Are they going to release something that's going to set the world on fire?
Well,
no.
What it's going to do is going to shake things up a bit. For the last 8-9 years, they've run on the Intel processor.
Years.
They've been years.
So they're going to release. Okay, so they're making their own.
They're making their own, and I think this is what this is going to be. We're going to see a new Mac or a new MacBook with their processor.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd personally buy it. It's the first one they've made, so I think I'll let someone else be a guinea pig.
Now they're expanding in their products,
the silicon.
their hardware range.
Now they're making their own silicon.
Why?
It's a good question. Maybe it's a supply thing. Maybe it's a profit thing. Look, the processor is one of the most expensive parts of a machine. So they make more money instead of buying it from someone. I don't know. But I also think we'll see the announcement of Big Sur, which is the next operating system. They mentioned that in one of the last events. Hopefully it's still this year. We're due for Big Sur, S-U-R. Big Sur. It's a mountain island thing off the coast of California somewhere, I think. Ish thing. I don't know. As you said, it wasn't important for you.
Is it going to make me a cup of tea? No.
No. Well, it can if you send a message.
But Spotify is very interesting.
Well, we haven't got to Spotify yet.
Oh, I missed one.
Spotify. Yep.
No, you didn't put the Apple thing in.
Did I not put the Apple thing? No, I didn't put any of that.
In his list, he didn't
but there,
put
the free software. So
we're there. Okay.
Free software.
You have touched on this over the years a lot.
I have.
On what happens when you download software that's free and the risks that come with it.
Yes.
Mainly for the younger generation out there who have.
That's why I'm mentioning it.
Little fear, no care, and no responsibility because they're not going to pay for it.
Correct. Now,
which is where the big danger is.
This is a true life experience for me. So for those of you that watch the show and follow it all the time, you know that I live with a 14-year-old gamer, and
it's his son.
Entire world.
Nothing dodgy.
I should have probably clarified that. So his entire world revolves around gaming and esports.
Yours too.
Well, I know, but I'm nowhere near as good as he is. But I'm not even close to the same league. We're not in the same room.
But you're obsessed as much as him.
Yeah,
so don't be dumping it on the kid.
Okay. Point taken. Hold on. But his machine packed out a few months ago
because
we didn't know. We just thought it was running slow. It wasn't performing.
But you should have known.
No,
that should have been the first thing.
Windows.
Don't be starting. Don't start.
Don't do Windows. Don't do Windows. But so back to the drawing board. So I got another machine from the Direwolves, which is the esports team that I work with, and we're running the machine. And anyway, as it would happen, all good things have to come to an end. They need the machine back. We have depression. We have the end of the world. COVID's a walk in the park compared to this. And I say, well, dude, I don't have cash to go and build you another rig now, but I'm going to just try and bring the old one back to life. So I took it into my trustworthy computer place. And 2 things, okay? We've been given a point of order by Tess.
She's producing
producing us.
She heard me say point of order, and I knew that she would laugh because that would be like a secret joke between us girls.
Okay, well, I'm still taking the point of order. So this is what happened. The RAM had fried. which is not an expensive
not a
thing.
good thing,
No,
right?
it's not an expensive thing to fix.
Doesn't matter.
But they found viruses on the hard drive, and that was what was causing.
So Kane has been
everything to
doing dirty things with his computer.
He actually hasn't. That's the good news.
It's not him.
No, it's him. It's
It
his
is
machine.
him.
The problem is that, you know, they chat amongst themselves, like,
Yeah.
why do you want to drop $40? Rather just go to this website, download the patch, or put this into the game, it'll make it go better. And I'm not lecturing, and we've all done it. We've all downloaded something. There's not a single person who hasn't downloaded something.
Not me.
Okay. 99%
I make
of us have
Tess do it.
downloaded. I love it. Okay, so we cleaned up the hard drive. This machine is flying. Okay, it's running as good as it did in day one. We wiped everything out, put brand new RAM, albeit it was faster, better RAM, so that would have made a difference. The point that I'm making, and we know we have a lot of small businesses that listen to the show, so what I wanted to quickly get to before we run out of time.
Free software, be alert,
Cop
be
the
aware.
money, pay the price, and save the hardware and frustration, save the infiltration, save the hacking,
It's
all the
free
crap that
for a
comes with it.
reason.
Correct. So, you know, no one wants to pay $100 for something. Like, you know, I can get it for free, or your mate's going to say, oh, just go to the site and download it. It's tempting, right? Don't do it. Really, it's just not worth it. That you can lose your whole business. Besides the illegal aspect, let's just take that off the table for now. We know it's illegal. People do things that are illegal all the time. I'm not here to preach on that.
Are we ready to move on?
We are. But that was my warning. We're going into the Christmas period.
It should be careful out there. Your kids often can be downloading stuff that you're not aware of, apart from that problem that you're not aware of, but it can actually be bringing in something like a virus. And if you guys have used the computer as well, and it's one and it's shared and you've got files, God forbid you log in to work, please be
correct. Right. Last thing with business tech news.
Spotify.
Artists. So now Spotify works on a really cool algorithm, machine learning, artificial intelligence. See where I'm going with this?
Yes.
All these
it's a
wonderful
segue
things.
to our guest.
A little bit of a hint if you didn't know who our guest was. And I see he's in the studio. We'll be bringing him in soon from his country, his world, another place. What I love about this little story, and that's why I had to share it, Spotify have realized that artists also need to make money.
Yep.
And they need a chance to get their place in the sun and promote their music so that their fans can find out about it, as opposed to just Spotify running its algorithms and giving you
I
what they think.
I'm the only person in the world that doesn't have a Spotify account.
Well, we can fix that for you. It's
And
really easy. You just download it. It's free.
It's
a free version, but
free.
It is free. You can pay for it as well. There's a premium version, but the algorithm works for everyone. So what Spotify has done now is they're allowing artists to choose what they want, and labels, obviously, what they want promoted, and then they'll put that into the mix of their algorithm, so that when people are listening to something, if the artist ticks the box, instead of putting one of the catalog songs that already has, or one of the maybe popular older songs, it gives an opportunity to promote a new song.
So it pushes us up.
Correct.
So, for instance, if the Beatles still were together,
yes,
and you play Beatles music and they released a new single,
like John Lennon just did a new album,
right? Then that they would push that up in terms of the algorithm. They would say, no, don't give her any one of these 10 favorites. You're going to give her this one.
Correct.
If I've asked for that to be on my playlist.
100%, which gives that chance a song to get big listenership and then hopefully turn into revenue
and
for the
because
artist.
you may not be aware of it, right? Because on Spotify, you're picking playlists of things that you know or want.
Correct, all the time. So I've tried to do
That's
as
great.
many lead-ins as I can to get to our guest. He is in our studio. With no further ado, I'm going to bring him into the studio and see if I can do this with two screens. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. And watch this. If I do this, look at that. We're still both there, and we've got a big picture for all the people that are watching and or listening.
Hi,
Hello,
Charlie. You know what this is like, Charlie? This is like Charlie's Angels.
I think Charlie's on mute. I don't know. I can unmute him. Let's see. No, I can't. Charlie, you need to unmute yourself, mate. There's got to be a mute button there somewhere on the screen. There we go.
Hello, Angela. Hello, Brett.
We didn't even practice that, Charlie. We went, hi, Charlie, together.
Thank
you so much for joining us. Now tell me, because I didn't get to practice this beforehand, is it Moraza?
Moraza, yes. It's an old Spanish name.
Yes, it's a beautiful Spanish name, I should say.
Thank you.
Charlie, you are a client executive for Meaningware, but for many people out there who don't know what a client executive is, you don't just look after the clients in Meaningware. You actually have a good IT tech background yourself. So tell us briefly what you do and what your background is, so people know that we've brought the right expert in to talk about AI.
Oh, okay. Well, I've always been in IT, and before I was the account or client executive for Meaningware, I was the Information Technology Services Manager for the Law Society of New South Wales. And pretty much my role in Meaningware is using the experience I had over the past 10 years running the IT department for the Law Society of New South Wales, to pretty much assess the needs of organizations or businesses or individuals, and pretty much put together an AI-powered solution to solve their business problem. Previously, I did pretty much the same thing, but not using AI, but using the other technology tools that were available to also solve problems or technical, not technical problems, but business problems, really. That
any
organization
that they might have with extracting data.
Using data. Any problem really that they needed to make their operations easier, better, more efficient, more cost effective, and pretty much improving their life, their working life in getting things done.
So what I'm fascinated about with AI is what it can do for business and business owners in terms of efficiencies and saving time, gathering data, interpreting data, making good choices based on data and not anything else, but also how it can protect a business in ways that haven't been foreseen. So we know that that AI is used in many different types of applications, and what it does for social media and how that's going to be going is one area that fascinates me, and what bots are doing. But if we look at AI from a purely a business perspective, and let's start basic, Charlie, because when we spoke the other day, I was already fascinated about the data that can be extracted from invoices, because I only looked at invoicing as to what I might produce, not what I might receive. And as you said, there are still people doing paper invoices.
Yeah,
correct. That's correct.
But that's not going to stand in the way of AI, right?
No, and there are AI solutions already in place that can actually scan those invoices, identify the relevant text in that invoice that is pertinent to let's say the amount or the bill, the customer, all those relevant information. It extracts that, and it can convert that into a data file that can be automatically loaded in anyone's accounting system. And pretty much the savings there is, one, you avoid errors because you're not keying the same data twice.
Yep.
Two, again, the time you spent in the processing time is cut down significantly, saving you cost in your pretty much business admin work. So even for small businesses, it's a big help because if you notice a lot of small businessmen, it's usually their wife working at night or they working at night taking care of their books. So that's one pretty much simple example of how AI can help make their life easier or their work easier. And sorry.
Quickly, Charlie. Sorry. I think what a lot of people have a misconception with, or maybe it isn't a misconception, hopefully it's changing. AI is an incredibly expensive technology. Now, we've had it for many years. I've looked at different AI solutions for the same reason you've just described with invoicing, but more importantly to extract what was being purchased on my client's behalf and then building media campaigns out against it. So that's your machine learning and your artificial intelligence all kind of rolled into one. The problem is, and please correct me, and hopefully you can correct me, the problem is it's always been really expensive. Has this changed? Is this now, have we turned the corner? Are you about to tell us some really exciting news that it's available to all of us?
Yeah. AI actually.
He looks happy.
Yeah. AI actually existed in the 1950s.
See?
But nobody
When
could.
Brett was born.
Yeah.
So, but the only ones who could afford to use that technology were, big organizations, like the CIA and the KGB, who could afford massive mainframe computers with very powerful processors. But these days, with cloud computing and virtual processors, where you can create your farm of virtual computers, and the processors running the parallel processing technology, you can have like 10, 20 machines running the same apps at the same time, processing, sort of like spreading the workload among, say, 10, 20 machines. And if that's not enough, you can add, just with a few clicks of the mouse, you can add additional processors straight away. And the beauty of cloud computing, especially, like, for example, I'm familiar with Amazon Web Services. You only pay as you go. So in other words, you don't pay for a bank of processors there and on standby and paying all that money until you need it. You only pay as you use it. So when you've done the operation, you pretty much that's released, and you only pay Amazon for the time that you use those processors. So for us, the costs of running AI applications or AI solutions for businesses is very affordable, and you would be very surprised at the cost of actually a few AI solutions that are quite simple. For example, we did one project where it was a finance company that wanted to automate their loan applications. They processed a lot of personal loans, and they had very huge processing costs because the percentage of loans being approved was very small compared to the loans being applied. And so they needed to cut down the processing cost and automate a lot of the operations of extracting the information that they needed from the people applying for the loans. And
because
we put together.
That is the true meaning of processing paperwork. Any application of any kind is the true meaning.
Right. Yeah. So we put together a solution where the applicant on their computer online would switch on their webcam so it could look at their photo image on the computer, and they upload an image of their driver's license, for example, and the computer would compare the photo on the driver's license and the image on the webcam and confirm that is the same person. Then it would extract the information from the driver's license, like name, date of birth, address, and all that.
But Charlie, it's interesting that you're talking about that in particular with ID. AI, though, has also progressed where it's ensuring that there are less data breaches now, as well as it's incorporated, right?
Yeah.
Because as you're uploading your driver's license and your image, which is the classic gold piece of information used to crack or hack or set up fake accounts.
Yes, and
launder drug money. But that's classic use of it. So AI now has stepped in and made bigger organizations able to be more secure by detecting. Yes. So that's a good thing moving forward. I mean, we're going to be, AI is clearly going to take over and run the world. That's scary. But in terms of...
Yes, Elon.
We know.
Yes, the problem with a lot of organizations is they actually don't know where their private or data resides and where they have. And classic example is the latest data breach from the city of Port Phillip, where they actually sent personal information to the data portal of the Australian government. And we have AI systems now, and in fact, we implemented it for a large insurance company that pretty much searches their entire information system storages and identifies all the private information and tags them and classifies them and puts that into what you call a metadata, like a just sort of like an index. and because they're tagged, anyone trying to access that data can be controlled as far as whether they have permission to access that data, and they can retrieve other information, right? But they won't see that personal information. So they can still do their work, but they don't. They only see what they need to get their work done.
It's AI redaction, right?
Yes, that's it. That's it. Yeah. And so in the case of that one of Port Phillip, they actually accidentally sent it across to the data portal. But if they had used our system, for example, that would have tagged straight away that, hey, this bit contains private information.
There's a comment that's just come through saying not knowing where our personal data is
pretty much
So Charlie, we've just had a viewer comment and say, not knowing where our personal data ends up is scary. Yeah, there's a very big world out there with private data that you trust the organization that has asked you for it, because we give when it's asked, and they should be honoring that trust and knowing what's going on. So we know that. Charlie, can you share with us, and very quickly because we're going to run out of time, can you share with us examples of how AI is being used in big organizations? It's not necessary that the small business owner may use it or be aware, but just give us an example of how it's changing the way big organizations work.
A lot of, like, say, banks, for example, they use AI now to analyze contracts or loan agreements that they have. Banks especially are heavily regulated. Finance companies are heavily regulated, and any changes to the regulations, they need to review their agreements, loan agreements or contracts, to find out if any clauses there breach the new regulations. Right. They employed before hundreds of fresh young law graduates to pour through all these documents and identify which ones are non-compliant anymore. Now they can use AI to actually search those documents and actually point out, okay, this batch, these things here, these are they need to be looked at because they're no longer compliant with the new regulations. That's an example of how big businesses use the power of AI.
And my last question is, if big business is using AI and small business will, and they already are without even realizing it, that it's part of, machine learning and deep machine learning, everything, that's all there, it's happening. But what I'm curious about is it's still the human element that's designing it all at the moment, right?
That's true.
It's only as good as us humans make it for now.
Yes, and especially like personal information, the privacy issues with personal information. People take it for granted, and they don't demand strongly to make sure that companies protect that personal information. But the best statement I heard on the private information is that when you lose control of your private information, you lose control on how others look at you or regard you, because you've basically given them that private information which they shouldn't have looked at, and you lose. Not only do you lose control on how others look at you, you lose control on how others treat you. And think of that statement. That is very true.
No. We thank you.
We're getting to the end of our segment.
Sorry.
Just a quick question.
One last quick question.
Meaningware, your company that you work for, quickly, what is it that you guys do? How do we find you? How do the listeners find you, et cetera, et cetera? The viewers, listeners, you're right, viewers.
Yeah, Meaningware, we have a website, meaningware.com.au.
Okay.
And we pretty much focus on machine learning and natural language processing and deep learning solutions in the areas of knowledge management and data governance. That's our specialty, really.
Which is really important for big organizations, that they have a governance process and procedure in place, especially since more and more of our data is being uploaded.
Yes.
As opposed to turning up somewhere and showing them a photocopy of something. And they really do need to up their game. We certainly have a very high expectation now of big organizations and what they do with our personal information. So
for
thank
sure.
you,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that
Thanks
that
for
little
coming.
bit.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
It was last
I have got
minute.
the website up there as well, so people can
The
see it.
website's up there. We appreciate your time, and we've had a big shout out from South Africa
I was
listening in
about
as
to
well.
say it's baie vrug daar, Hailey. Hoe kom
So we
jy
thank you for
wakker?
that. Have a great afternoon, Charlie. We'll talk to you
Okay.
soon. Thank
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That's our AI expert.
I must say,
In
that's
business.
interesting because we're LinkedIn Live on
Yep.
your profile, and Hailey's reached out from South Africa. So I don't know if you and Hailey are connected or she just saw a post. But what I said in Afrikaans was it's really early there. And
Is it really early
It's
there?
really early there. It's like 5:30 in the morning and she's up and watching us. So thank you.
Well, we
get into the last,
dedicated
it is
listeners.
dedication. We get into the last part of the show,
Yep.
questions and answers.
Yep.
Did anything come through this week?
Yes, we had a Q&A, you're the
Q-
Q, I'm the A, or I'm the Q, you're the A, right?
You can be the Q, I'll be the A. How's that?
Okay, well, okay.
Because you're
So-
the queen, Q. No? Okay, I'm trying.
I
You
can
go.
ask the question and you have
Okay.
to answer it.
Okay, shoot.
That's how we're doing it.
Let's do it.
How do I connect my smart TV with my iPhone? Or can you?
Easily and yes.
So does it, if you don't, is that if you don't have a smart TV, you can make it smart by connecting it with your iPhone?
Yes. Oh, we're connected. Awesome. Well, maybe you're connected. So you can. So let me start from the simple. The easiest way to connect an iPhone or any phone for that matter with a smart TV is by adding in a connector or box. So for Apple, go with an Apple TV. If you're an Android user, go with a Chromecast. Now, I'm saying that because the older models don't have the Chromecast built into them. Any of the newer TVs, and I think it's just important to that question as well. You get smart TVs and smart TVs, right?
Yep.
You get smart TVs that ran a TV operating system, very clunky.
Yep.
And then you get Android-based smart TVs that have Chromecast and that built into it. So to your first question, easiest way, no hassle, put in a box or a device. Chromecast or Apple TV, you can connect Android and Apple phones to either, and you stream from your phone through into the TV.
I had Telstra TV and never worked.
Yeah, well, that's
FYI,
using an old
never
TV.
worked.
I don't think that fetch thing is much better either. That being said, it's a great timing for the question. Maybe that's why the person asked it. Google have just updated Chromecast. So it used to just be a device that you plugged into the TV and then you paired it with your devices and your smart speakers, etc. It now comes with a remote control and a built-in TV connector in it. So you can actually cast Netflix.
But are you assuming, though, that the TV already has it?
No, you buy it. It's just launched. It's just come out
so
now.
it's a piece of hardware.
A little piece of hardware. I would have had a picture if I'd known about this. And
what do you do with it? So you connect it to the
into
TV.
HDMI socket.
Right. So you've got to have an HDMI.
You have to have an HDMI.
But that is presumed, right?
Most TVs in the last 10 years, 15 years have an HDMI,
Okay.
at least one. I think I've got 4. So you have one.
And yet you still get viruses.
Not me, I have an Apple. I had to do that. So, but you specifically said an Apple. I think the other part of the question is, do you want to just stream like Netflix or Amazon Prime, or do you want to share your phone or your Zoom call and that with a TV?
Well, that's really scary that you can do that, but that's one. I don't think this person had considered that because they didn't ask it. So that's a good.
So let me finish up with that
extension.
because I know we also ran out of time.
Because you can use it as a camera, right? Because you can use your phone as the camera.
And that's what I was getting to. So if you would like, say how we're sitting now, if we were going to do a Zoom call, instead of us both dialing in, we could have just used a phone.
Yep.
And we could have cast it to a screen where we could sit watching on the screen. Gail, my wife, she does training with her personal trainer at home on the TV, but she uses her phone as the connecting device. So the phone connects to Zoom, then it connects to the Apple TV, and it plays through the Apple TV, so she can control it with a remote control as well. It's not hard. It's a good question. The last thing I want to add on there is that if you have a smartphone, which I think most people do, and if you have a smart TV, chances are you probably don't have to spend any more money. There will be a setting that will let you cast it. It either looks like on Apple, it's a little screen with an arrow through the bottom of it. And then on Android, it's a screen with, looks like Wi-Fi signals on the top right corner. Those are the 2 icons you're looking for
casting.
And that will cast. And then you just got to make sure you're on an HDMI channel where your Apple TV or your Chromecast is built into.
Well, we have choices these days.
We do.
That's what technology is bringing. So it's not just that it's new tech, it's that this new tech now is seamlessly giving people choices in their homes, where once it was just the TV, and if something happened to that or it couldn't do something, then it just didn't do it. And I think it's becoming even less and less where people are reliant on, do I live in the right area? Is there an area where I can connect? And now it's just all about connectivity. But we're going to come back to that all the time, aren't we, Brett?
We are. And it's
always
getting
going to be
easier
about
and it's getting better. Have you noticed you use AirPods? You take them out and straight away your phone pops up and says connected to Angela's AirPods. You get into your car, your phone pops up, it says connected.
Yep.
So the Bluetooth protocol, the Wi-Fi protocol, these things are all working pretty well together lately. They have been anyway. It's just going to get better and better and better. You get tap with NFC. Can take a phone, tap it on a speaker, and all of a sudden the music's there.
But our lives are becoming more and more controlled by technology.
Well, that's where the AI comes into it as well, right? It's learning from what we do and what we consume.
Downtime is surrounded by tech, and our work time is surrounded by tech, and we need all of it to work. And I swear we all have that same look of pain on our face when something doesn't work.
So Mariam has just asked a question. What if it's not an Apple TV, but an Apple device? Mariam, Apple TV is a separate device. They don't make actual TVs. It is a separate device. So if you have a smart TV and an iPhone, chances are the two will connect automatically. You just go to cast or share screen, and it will, as long as your TV has a Wi-Fi connection built in, that's the test. Go into the settings of your TV, look for Wi-Fi. It has to have Wi-Fi. If it doesn't have Wi-Fi, you need to add a box or a Chromecast into it.
So
Hopefully
what about, get Chromecast dongle. So can you get a Chromecast dongle?
And then that plugs straight in. The Chromecast connects to your Wi-Fi network.
Yeah.
And then your phone and your Wi-Fi network on the same. Oh, that's the other thing, guys. A lot of people say, oh, I've done it, it can't work. It's the same as a printer. If you have more than one Wi-Fi network, which most people do, they might not know that they do. You get a 2.4 gigahertz and a 5 gigahertz. So if you have more than one, you need to make sure you're on the same network. Like even here, we've got Eagle 2 and Eagle 5, right?
Yes.
In our studios.
Yes.
You have to be on the same one to share.
And outside of our studio, we have two other choices.
Correct.
In the office as well.
So hopefully that answers that. I've just put a banner up. One last punt for ASCA, please. Next week is the event. We have the Apple event or we have the ASCA event. I think definitely we need to go to the ASCA event. So anyone that wants to learn more about computers.
Tell them what ASCA is.
ASCA is the Australian Seniors Computer Club Association, which I'm very proud to be associated with and a director of.
Because he's a senior.
Because I'm a senior. But you don't have to be a senior. We have incredible speakers lined up. It's $15. Come get a ticket. Come in and listen to what we have for the day.
And Mariam, if we haven't answered your question, feel free to message me and I'll connect you with Brit. And Brett will be able to answer your tech questions.
I'm so glad Hayley was here
offline.
because she can say Brett.
And I know, Hayley, I know we are connected. Thank you. We appreciate that.
I was just.
So that's it.
I think that's it. I think.
So we're up to the shiny knobs.
We are. So should we go there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, until next time, keep your screens clean
and your knobs shiny.